up guys? My name is Gracie, aka Gray Reads Books, and I'm back. I'm so sorry. I've been gone for like a couple months. I started a new job. I started school again for the year, so I've been super busy. But I'm gonna try to do more videos again because I miss it. I really do. So today I'm going to review some arcs that I've recently read and have not had the chance to talk about yet. And yeah, so I think that I believe I have 4 arcs. So I will go through them in the order that I read them. The first one we're going to talk about today is They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. This came out, I believe, on August 4th. I could be wrong. Let me check. Yeah, this came out on August 4th. It is a mystery thriller surrounding a school, and it has kind of like a secret, not so secret society of elite students who have access to pretty much anything they could desire, but the process of getting in is a little bit sinister. The main character, Jill's best friend, was actually killed during the last step of this process of getting into the group. And her boyfriend at the time confessed to it, but now I believe about a year later, I could be wrong about that timeline, some people are starting to wonder if this was a false confession and if there is still a killer on the loose. I gave this 4 stars, so I actually quite enjoyed it. I really loved the thriller aspect of this. Like, I thought that the clues, the red herrings, the reveal were done really well, and I really enjoyed that part of it. What brought it down for me was definitely the characters. Obviously, you know, they're not going to be super likable. They are the popular, oftentimes rich kids who can get anything they want. They have access to all the answers to all the tests and homework and stuff. And so they do act stuck up, but that is not the reason why I disliked them. I just felt that the author didn't do a great job with most of the characters in making them human-like, like realistic. Obviously, like, there are stuck-up people in the world, and people that have a lot of privilege, like this group of teens does, but I felt that that was their only defining trait, was this privilege, and I wanted a little bit more realism, because obviously there's multiple facets to everyone. So that would be something that really brought it down for me. And I also thought that the writing wasn't amazing by any means, like, just the style didn't click with me a whole lot, but the plot really brought this up in rating for me. The second book I read also came out on August 4th, and that was I Am Here Now by Barbara Bottner, which I gave 4 stars as well. This book is, I believe, set in the 50s in New York City, I think maybe the Bronx. I could be incorrect. About a girl named Maisie who's really struggling in her life. She has a lot of conflict at home with her sibling, with her parents, with her best friend, just trying to fit in and trying to make herself someone that she isn't. This really gave me the Poet X vibes. It's in verse. It has a lot of commentary about growing up and finding out who you are, and having a lot of struggles with, like, mental health. I really enjoyed the relationships in this book. Her relationship with her brother was absolutely, like, very special to me. I just felt so connected with it. I felt that it paralleled some of the aspects of my relationship with my brother, and I just really connected with that. As well as just the characters in general felt much more realistic compared to, like, They Wish They Were Us. So that was really nice. Obviously, the writing, like I said, is in verse, which I really enjoy. If that's something you enjoy, I would highly recommend this. The only thing that really brought it down a star for me was I something about the plot and like the storyline was a little off for me. I believe it was the pacing, but I can't quite like put my finger on exactly what it was. I would say the main character is very unlikable at times, and if you can't handle unlikable characters, I would not recommend this book to you. And the third book I read out of these is the one I was most excited for, and actually I gave the lowest rating out of all of them, which is really disappointing. So that third book that was disappointing is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I am a huge fan of Nina LaCour. Hold Still is my favorite book of all time. I absolutely love We Are Okay. I just really connect with her writing and the way she portrays mental health and trauma, usually. Watch Over Me is about Mila, a girl with a very tragic and traumatic past who gets the chance to go work as a teacher at this kind of farmhouse type school area. I don't know how to explain it. Kind of almost like a sanctuary for kids with difficult pasts. And she gets the chance to live there and teach the younger children there, and is hoping for a better rest of her life compared to, and to help heal from what has happened to her in the past. So this book just felt kind of flat for me, and I was so excited for it because I knew that it had kind of like spooky, strange elements to it. But I don't know, something about it just didn't quite fit right. I felt that the way that trauma was dealt with and was like healed in this magical way that if you read the book you'll see, I felt that it was, I don't know, I could see how it was maybe a metaphor for trauma's healing, but I felt that it was kind of a cop-out way to show, like, it felt like her using this way to just get rid of people's trauma in Watch Over Me was kind of like erasing it and just saying, oh, it's gone now, you're fine. I don't know, it's just something didn't quite mesh with me with the way she dealt with trauma and mental health in this book. I also couldn't quite jive with the way it was paced. There was a lot of flashbacks, but I felt that they could have been placed better, or maybe less flashbacks. I don't know, I felt that it was very telling you exactly what happened, but then the way that the present day was written, it was almost pretending like you didn't know that that happened in her past. And I hate to complain about this book because I was so excited for it. If I could pick, like, I said this before to one of my friends, like, if I could have picked one arc to get this year, it would have been Watch Over Me, and the fact that it was less than 4 stars kind of upsets me. I gave it a 3.75 star, so it wasn't bad by any means. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. What really kept it higher than like a 3 and gave it that 0.75, I would say, is Nina LaCour's writing. Her writing style, her like affluence with words, and the way she like weaves them together is just amazing to me. Like, I just think she has an amazing talent. My expectations were maybe a little high, but she's like my favorite author, so I don't know. I'll stop talking about it. I definitely still recommend it. I think it was a good book. I was disappointed. The last book is one that I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did, and I actually rated it the highest. I gave it a 4.25 stars out of 5. And that was Swamp Thing Twin Branches by Maggie Stiefvater, also illustrated by Morgan Beam. Twins Alec and Walker, mainly focusing on Alec, who has a lot of anxiety issues, definitely some social anxiety. It's not outright said, but I would say it's very prominent in his life and his character. He is very drawn to plants. He loves working with them. He's very smart. He's trying to develop new technology in order to, I think, like almost extract the memories of plants. I don't know if that's the correct way to say that, but that's kind of what I got from it. And it's his summer with his brother Walker, who is the very opposite of him, and they're with their cousins, and they are introduced to a lot of new things, experiences. Alec gets out of his shell a little bit, or tries, and some things go a little awry with Alec's science stuff. I really connected with Alec's anxiety. I thought that the way Maggie Stiefvater wrote his like panic attacks, his anxious moments was very realistic in my opinion. I felt very connected to it as someone with anxiety. So I really appreciated that. I also just loved that there was a good mix of like realism, realistic teen experience, and also some sciencey, magical, weird stuff going on with the plants, and what Alec was trying to do with them. I love a little bit of weird stuff in my stories, so I really enjoyed that. I'm losing my voice, I'm so sorry. I felt that the plot very much so was just kind of like there, and nothing too crazy happened until the very end, like last 10 pages. And I do find that to be something that's very typical of graphic novels, and that's just something I don't connect with or really enjoy that much, but I really loved it. I thought the art was also beautiful, the vibe and like the aesthetic it had and the colors. I really enjoyed that. So I would definitely recommend it, even if you had like no idea what it was or no interest in it before. If you like plants, if you like anxiety rep, if you like graphic novels with some really cute art, I highly recommend it. That's what I'll say. So those are the 4 arcs that I recently read and wanted to review for you guys. Tell me if you've read any of them, or if you're interested in reading of them, or if I put you off on reading them. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to do that. I actually would recommend all 4 of the books, but definitely for different people. And I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are and staying safe. Bye!